Peter Delapenna here with USA captain Sindhu Sriharsha and USA women's head coach Charlotte Dickenson after an 18-run loss to Sri Lanka to wrap up USA's tournament here at the 2024 ICC Women's T20 World Cup Qualifier. You end with a loss, but there was a lot to be excited about going forward, a lot to keep your head up high about today. Start with you, Sindhu. What was the thing that you walk away with today feeling most prideful about?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I think it's been a tough tour being out here for 30-odd days and not getting a win, but didn't want to end on the way that we had ended against Thailand. You know, we talked about how we wanted to go out there, play for the pride, and just enjoy ourselves and, know that we have the potential to be here. And I'm glad that we can go away from this tournament smiling a little bit. And, I think all of them performed in some way or the other in this game with, patches of performances throughout the innings when we were fielding and batting as well. So I think it's just about believing in ourselves that we can get that last stride in and we will eventually get that W.
Same question, Coach.
I'm delighted with the way that they performed. The bowlers on the whole were outstanding, and we did a much better job of backing them up in the field. And then, the batters went out with a logical manner to try and chase down the score. I think for me the most important thing is that these players begin to understand what they need to do, what they need to train, how they need to train in order to reach the standards. Sri Lanka are an outstanding side, world-class team, and the girls competed in very many parts of the game, and I hope that they take that away with them and feel a lot of pride for what they achieved on the pitch today.
18 runs, you can argue that's a lot, you can argue that's a small margin. There were so many subtle things that make a big difference in a match like there was. As well as you played, there were some key chances missed in the field. There were a number of missed fields that opened the door. And then on the batting side, when you were at the crease, Sindhu, again, it looked at times like you weren't always on the same page with your partner in terms of everybody knows your style is tap and run cricket, and at times non-strikers were on their heels, not prepared necessarily to run on contact and look for those just opportunities to take advantage of. In terms of those small margins, if you had to pinpoint one thing that is an area of focus that would help you run Sri Lanka much closer, or potentially even spring an upset in this kind of situation, what do you think would be the key area to focus on?
Well, all of the things that you said, I think the key area for me, going back is definitely the power play. I think, getting a little bit more runs in the power play, knowing that there are only two fielders allowed outside, and we're not taking enough advantage of that and getting more boundaries in the power play. We're making up for it later on in the innings, but I think definitely going back and focusing on that. Like you said, there are definitely small margins, understanding about when to stand up for a batter and within your 30-yard circle for a particular batter, when you're fielding, when to fall back a little bit based on the batters. These are things that you actually pick up as and when you play a lot of cricket and against good batters and competitive batters. With more exposure, I'm sure the girls will start understanding the angles of the field, where they need to stand for a particular batter, the left-handers, right-handers, where they need to bowl. So all of these small margins, I think, with more exposure, they definitely start picking it up. One thing I definitely want to tell the girls is, they have the shots in their armor. It's just about believing in ourselves and going out there and taking a few more risks and being a little bit more brave.
Same question, Coach. Amongst those small margins, those subtle things that, the one percenters, what stands out for you?
Well, I mean, we are achieving them each time we play. The bowlers, we've had a lot of work and we've had a lot of talks and we've had a lot of analysis and team meetings, and they've proved that they can take on board and grow and develop their skills and bowl in the right zones. Against a pretty good, outstanding batting lineup in some regards. So, we can't lose sight of the fact. I know we haven't got any wins. We can't lose sight of the fact of the development that has gone on here. I think it's really beneficial that they're due to go away on tour again pretty soon, and I think the more opportunities that they can have to play against international teams and develop those opportunities can only benefit them. hopefully moving on, they'll also, engage with a full-time coach that will be able to work with them, set game plans, look at what's happening in these sort of tournaments and build on that. And strength and conditioning, all of these sorts of things that a lot of these top level teams take for granted, are still areas of development for us, and we need to build on that.
For me, the standout in terms of a new discovery or revelation on this tour, Sanvi Amadi, I thought she bowled exceptionally well, and I don't think her figures really do her justice. I'll start with you, Coach, this time. For a 15-year-old making her debut, the confidence that she showed on the fields. I mean, just looking at her appeals, the vigor and the intensity in her appeals and the excitement, whether it succeeded like it did tonight, or when she probably should have had Catherine Bryce out and wasn't given out, and she just kept on plugging away and got a wicket later in that over against Scotland. I mean, there was a lot to like about her. What stood out to you most about the way she approached it on her USA debut?
Well, I mean, she's slightly frightening for a little thing, in and around the hotel and things. When she makes herself known, she definitely makes herself known. I love the appeals. I'm not sure about pointing at the umpire, demanding the wicket, but that comes from her attitude, and that comes from her desire to do really well. And she engaged so well with the coaches, with the other bowlers, moving her forward. There's no question that she is a talent. We've got to make sure that she gets really appropriate coaching. She's come a long way in such a short period of time. And I hope that somebody's going to take her under their wing. Just little things. I always remember watching Shane Warne, no matter where he stood or what he was doing, he always had a ball in his hand and he was flipping it, trying to keep his wrists supple and build those muscles. So little things like that, but she's a fiery little thing, and she's gonna take a lot of wickets as she goes forward.
Sindhu, she's in your neck of the woods up in Northern California, so you know her probably better than a lot of other people. I mean, leading into the tour, what kind of signs did you see that she would be able to rise to the occasion?
Yeah, not many of them know that she was a pace bowler a couple of years back. I think she took up leg spin, I believe, a year and a half before, and we've seen the way the performance that she's put in the Bay Area, playing the intra-regionals, regionals and nationals as well. So I have seen her closely grow, and she's one person who's keen to learn. She always comes up asking for questions, and I know when she was debuting the night before, she was in my room wanting to talk about the plans that she had, and she had a plan A, plan B. She wanted the field settings, she had everything drawn out, was sitting in my room and talking about this, and that's when I knew that she was there and she wanted to perform for the team. And only thing she kept telling me is, I do not want to go out there and not do it for the team, and I'm going to stand up for anything that I can do. And she was like, put me anywhere on the field, I'll field as well. So she just wanted this as much, and I think it just showed her attitude and her heart on the field.
And I think that continues on, with her batting the other night. We could have been bowled out pretty quickly, but she held up her end. She ran hard. She got out other batters onto strike, and and I think that shows a game awareness, a game sense, which sometimes isn't easily coached. Sometimes it just comes naturally.
In spite of the fact that you haven't come away with a win on this tour, I always ask this question at the end of each tour. What are you going to remember most about this tour in terms of growth and looking forward?
Yeah, it's been a long tour, and what do I remember? It's probably definitely some of the newcomers. PG, the innings that she played yesterday against Thailand when she came out and played. Pooja Shah today, Sanvi Amadi, like you mentioned, Disha in the ODI series, Geets with the new balls. I can keep on going with the things that I want to take back, and I think what I want to say, coming from 2022 to over here, there's not one single performer. We have multiple performers in different games that has happened, and I think that's a win for us. In going forward, we know that it's not just been one person who stood up. There has been multiple players who put their hands up and showed that they belong in this environment over here.
Same question, Coach.
Well, I'm just super impressed. They came off the back of the tournament in Los Angeles 6 months ago. They've had to do their own preparation and work to prepare themselves for this tournament. And again, a drop-in coach and myself, a drop-in physio, a drop-in assistant coach, a new manager, and they just take to it. They just, first of all, they make everybody feel so welcome, new players, new staff. They've got an outstanding commitment to themselves, fantastic approach to the way that they want to live their lives and play their cricket. They're working hard, they're studying hard. It's really impressive to be a part of that group. And they take the losses really heavily. I know there's a lot of press and comments and social media. These girls, they are trying so hard. And as a coach, there's nothing that you want more from your players than to see that effort. So I head off back home to New Zealand tomorrow. And I just think that there's some phenomenal young players here, some really experienced older players, and if they're backed, they can do some really good things on the cricket pitch.
Anything else you want to say about this tour?
I've just thoroughly enjoyed myself. Don't get me wrong, it's really hard. I know that it was a real struggle a couple of years ago. I hope that the players walk away from here having learnt, having developed, having recognised that it's not all about winning, that we've learned so many other things, both personally and in a team environment, and they are an outstanding group of young women.
For me, I think everybody, the 16 that travelled here, feel like they've performed in one game or the other and feel like they belong here. So I think that's the thought I want them to hold on to a little bit more longer and go back and work on things that we've identified here, and just eventually come back 2 years down the lane over here and get a few more wins.
All right, there you have it. USA captain Sindhu Sriharsha and head coach Charlotte Dickenson. Thank you so much.
Thank you.